Stuart, have you had time to further look back and further discuss the weekend's handball incident?
As I kind of touched on Sunday, but I did say to the players as well, we analysed the game as we always do. We analysed our performance. We analysed what we can do better, what we felt worked for us. There was a lot of good things from our side of things, and how we kind of wanted the game to play out, how we sort of envisaged it, and I spoke to them by, I don't know, about 11:15 maybe on Monday morning. The game was done, it's finished, because we've got a big task and a big game ahead of us, which I'm sure we'll speak about. And that's where we got to. That's literally where it was. The mood in the camp was better than I thought it would be, because it was such a harsh blow. I thought we'd maybe have to try and pick the players up, but it wasn't the case, because they're an excellent bunch of boys. They're a really kind of stand out bunch of players, and their mentality and how they go about their business on a daily basis. So again, immensely proud of that, because that's a bitter blow on Sunday, and sometimes you think it might take longer than that day to pick yourself up, but no, they've been in good spirits the last couple of days, and we're fully focused on what's ahead.
Just lastly on that, did you speak to Willie? Did you seek any clarification after it? No. Did you consider it, or why have you decided not to do it this time?
No, I've probably not done it a lot of times. My conclusion in the whole thing, hopefully to try and wrap it up, was that the VAR official seen the incident, told the referee to come over the screen. The referee seen the incident several times and deemed it a penalty. There was a very prompt statement after it. There was a quick statement after it, which feels a wee bit unusual, because I think there's a lot of games that probably wouldn't be the case. I could be wrong in that. And that almost seemed to double down on it being the correct decision. Where I go now is, and my conclusion that I draw under it is, we see an awful lot of penalties, and a lot that people are going to be really, really frustrated by. And this is where I now do sit. So you talk about having that conversation the Monday after the game. Now where I'll sit and everything I'll question is, if those incidents aren't given as penalties, then that one was wrong. If they are given, then there's a consistency in that. So whether it's against us, whether it's for us, whether it's Friday night, or whether it goes further down the line, I think I'll be speaking for the vast majority of people within Scottish football that have a vested interest in Scottish football, and tell you we don't want to see them given as penalties. I think it's been talked about a number of times, is what is that bar, where do we pitch the bar, and what do the clubs want to see as the stakeholders, what do the clubs want to see. And I would be amazed if you speak to any clubs that want that to be given as a penalty. But now I believe we've set a standard in what's going to be a penalty, so I would envisage that those types of scenarios, and maybe even not as harsh as that, I would imagine that they will now be given as penalties.
So you're almost in a strange.
On to Friday, please.
Just last one. You're almost in a strange position where you're saying you don't think anyone wants that to be a penalty, but now you also almost do want those to be given as a penalty for the rest of the season, so that there is.
What I'm saying is, just for consistency, I think we'll all speak about this, that there has to be a consistency in the decision making within the games. I know that everything's not identical, everything's not always exactly as that one was, but I mean, when you go and try and block the ball with your foot and not your upper body, you know, we've seen the ones where you go and try and block it with your upper body and your hands in a natural position, but if that ricochets up off somebody's foot from half a yard, then I would be expecting that they're going to be giving them from a yard or further, that type of thing. So I thought that was an extreme case. Really, really unfortunate that it comes off the hand, not going in the goal. I think we can all see that the ball's not heading towards the goal. And so, as I say, I'm somebody that likes clarity, I'm somebody that likes consistency, same as everybody else. I have a lot of conversations with a lot of different people within Scottish football, in the press, the media, coaching staff, players, you know, punters, people that are, as I say, have got that vested interest in Scottish football, and I don't think we want to see that, but I think we have set a precedent on Sunday here of what's going to be given as a penalty.
Can I just a final one? I
No, we're here to preview.
I just don't understand why you've not asked for clarification, because, you know, clearly you stated at the weekend that you were told and your players were told that those decisions would not be given.
That was my understanding of it, but you're asking why I didn't ask for clarity, because there's a chain of decisions and thought processes and statements that have kind of told us that can be given as a penalty. So what clarity would I want, you know, from the check in VAR, from the look at the screen, and from the statement afterwards? That's kind of given me my answer. So why would I go back over that again?
Yeah. Okay. Preview the cup game, please, guys.
Just about to say, you've got such a huge game
year for the club, you kind of want Football Matters to dominate this point in time. I think everyone wants Football Matters to dominate. Is it the frustration that we are all still at this point when you've got Premier Sports, a chance to get to a semi-final, a chance to get some silverware for the club? It's the same old stuff that's rearing its head every season.
Again, I've spoke about an individual incident that probably is high profile because of the stage of the game, because of where the game sat at the time, because it's a televised game, etc, etc. All I want to do is concentrate on football. All I want to do, and we know that this sport can be harsh and it can be tough at times, and sometimes you don't feel as if you get what you deserve or what you merit, even in stages of games and whatnot. But I just want football to dominate. I know I've sat here for the last few minutes and we speak about it, and it was inevitable that we were going to speak about it. And as always, I generally try and answer your questions as honestly and methodically as I possibly can. But I just want football to dominate it. I think everybody knows my passion for Scottish football, for the betterment of Scottish football, for trying to see young players, trying to see experienced players and everybody else flourish and try and do well at your football club, and to try and go to the National Stadium if at all possible over the course of a season and give your supporters, who were fantastic here on Sunday, give them something to cheer about. I'm expecting a big crowd here on Friday against St Mirren. I think they'll bring a really good travelling support. I think we'll have a really good home crowd. That's what we all want to dominate. That really is what we all want to dominate. I talk about it all the time. I hate drama. I can't stand drama. I can't. I would rather be talking about elements of games of football, the tactical side of it, players improving, parts of a game plan that have worked, quality goals, quality imagination. That's what I want to talk about. But following Sunday's game, that is not the thing that dominates the game. I thought there was a lot of good performances from both sides. Not just my team. I thought there was a lot of good individual performances. There was lots tactically, I think, from both sides, whether it be Celtic trying to tweak something to hurt us, or whether us trying to counter what they were doing. There was loads within that, but we never talk about it. So I want the quarter final, obviously, and a bit of quality on Friday to try and be the topic of conversation.
We were just chatting before you came in about the amount of times that Kelly have actually been to Handball in the last decade or so, maybe only once or twice. For a club like Kelly, is that the sort of aim, is to make sure that hopefully these can be a lot more regular, these fans can get those sort of days out? Yeah,
I think I was asked at the start of the season, what's your goals and what do you want to transpire over the course of a season? You look at the two cup competitions. I think we've set our stall out very early on that we wanted to win the group and we want to go as far as we can in this. What does that look like in the league? But if we focus purely on this cup competition, fortunately it was something I experienced last year, getting to Hampden, getting to a semi-final against Rangers, and it was a great feeling that Friday night, that quarter final. You could see the mood in the camp and what it means to the players and the supporters and the football club in general. So I think you go into every season not with the expectation but with the hope and the desire to try and get there, and they can be special occasions, but you have to make sure that you take part in a cup game against a very good side. You have to make sure you're very well organised, and I'm sure there's going to be a few twists and turns from what is that plan A on Friday. I'm sure that we're going to probably get to B, C and D at some point, because I imagine it's two teams that are going to have a real good go at trying to get to the National Stadium for a semi-final, because I'm sure you'll see by the commitment of both sets of players on Friday, it means an awful lot.
The two teams don't know much about each other. Stuart, you need to come up with something different?
I don't think you need to come up with something different. I think Stephen and myself have played against each other so many times with our respective clubs, be it when he was at Motherwell, St Mirren, myself at Ross County, Motherwell, Kilmarnock. So I think you get a good gauge about what each other is. I think sometimes you can try and be too clever as well. I think sometimes you try to envisage that something's going to be in the game that's maybe not there. I think what we have to do is come up with a plan that will show the best version of ourselves. And you have to try and get the best out of your players. You have to try and have them in a position where they're confident, they have a belief in themselves. And again, I keep saying this every single week, no matter who we play against, it's about execution. We can talk about being as good as we want Monday to kind of Thursday as it will be this week, but once it comes Friday, we have to make sure that we execute things really, really well. But as I say, from myself and the staff, it probably more be about that what if, that plan B and C, if something's not quite working, or if St Mirren get the upper hand in a particular element in the game, we have to make sure that we're ready to act. So we try and do that every single week, and it'll not be any different this week. It's just probably that there's a wee bit more emphasis on it being that one-off cup game, so sometimes that can change the nature of it.
Any bumps and bruises for the weekend?
I think we're okay. I'm expecting a couple back, so I would imagine that we'll have a couple of players back. I'm not going to rhyme and verse. I think we had 8 senior players out for the game against Celtic, so I'm hoping that this morning we'll have 2 or 3 of them back on the pitch, and hopefully they put themselves in a position to stake a claim for at least the squad, maybe even the starting lineup for Friday.
Stuart, just on Friday, it's been a decent start to the season. Obviously, you're in this quarter final, yet to win a game in the league. Though, do you feel that it could almost kickstart the campaign through to Hampden, and then you can take that back into the league form of first win in a while?
Depends your perception. You say kickstart the season. I think we've been all right. I think. Sorry.
Maybe a bit harsh for me saying.
Yeah, it's we've been fine. We've been fine. We want more from ourselves. We want to win games of football, no doubt. I don't sit here comfortable saying that we've drawn games of football, but what spin do we put on statistics? Unbeaten in 9, or do we want to say that we've not won in the league? So that it depends what way you look at it. I more look at the mood of the players. I more look at what they're doing on a day-to-day basis, and I can guarantee at that point just now they're performing at a high level. I think we can get better, but the mood in the camp's good, the confidence is good, and I think generally when you're in that place, then it gives you a chance in your next game.
Just on the players, there were so many positives from the weekend, but also do you think it's important for them to channel that frustration and anger that they felt at the end of the game going into Friday night?
Depends what way you look at it. I suppose it's how they present themselves on Monday, and as I say, from that disappointment, a last kick of the ball, penalty goal, you could be really down on the Monday, and it's not that they're kind of happy clappers and they say, oh well, we had a good go at it and move on. It's just that they know that there's plenty more tasks ahead of them. They're disappointed, they emptied, they put so much into it, and I think each and every one of them were disappointed on Sunday. But as I say, it's important that we create an environment here that once we get back together, that we lift each other and that we have a real togetherness. And I think our performance spoke volumes for that. There was a togetherness in our performance. Everybody could see that. I think most would probably acknowledge in that last sort of 10 minutes or so of the game, including injury time, we looked like we were the team that was going to go and win the game if there was going to be a winner. So I take immense pride in that. I take a lot of confidence for that. But looking in the players' eyes, I think they do as well. So that speaks volumes for them. But the idea of myself and the staff having to come in here and really pick them up and get an arm around them, we've not had to do it.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.